Hello, welcome back everyone. We're going to go ahead and now talk about vehicle zones. So vehicle zones is very similar to adding foraging zones. Basically, we're going to select the correct group, in which case it's going to be this parking stall group. Notice how when I select there, it doesn't matter where you select it, either one of these two. And we want to make sure that we have this create object zone selected. Once we do that, we're going to be able to zoom in or not, up to you. And then we're going to be able to create any size of square that'll be a parking stall zone. Inside of parking stall zones, cars will spawn. However, there are different car types. So it's not enough to just create a parking stall zone. We need to be able to give it some information for it to spawn correctly. That being said, as a quick reminder, cars in Project Zomboid are 3x4, right? These are regular cars, of course. We're not talking about like modded tanks or trucks or trailers or whatever. So regular cars are 4x3 or 3x4, depending on the orientation. So when you create a 4x3 square, there is a possibility of a car spawning here. That being said, the probability of the car spawning here is not guaranteed. The more parking stall zones that you create, the higher the probability that a car will spawn inside of your map. I say this because I have created maps where I make, 17 houses, and all of the houses have parking zones, both inside the garage and on the parking, like on the little area that I set aside for their driveway. And when I load into the game, 0 cars. And I get confused. Did I do it wrong? What is going on? No, it's just that the probability of spawning cars is usually relatively low, especially in the default sandbox settings. So just be aware of that. Cool. With that being said, let's go ahead and place a car zone. Again, because this is an example, I don't really care where I'm going to put it. I'm just going to go ahead and do it here. So we can go ahead and do something like a 3x4, or you can make a larger one, right? 6x4. That means that 2 cars can spawn there. I'm also going to go ahead and do the opposite, which is a 4x3. And over here, we're going to go ahead and get a number that's divisible by 3. That's going to be 15 and 4 tall. So what I expect is cars to spawn in the east-west direction for these ones, and in the north-south direction for these ones. That is my expectation. Now, to guarantee that some cars spawn, not guarantee, but rather to increase the odds, I'm going to make this ginormous thing and show that it's divisible by 3. Now, if it's not divisible by 3, it's not the end of the world. Don't worry about it. It's easier because I could pick 66 or 99 or something like that. Cool. I'm going to make this ginormous one. And at the bottom, you can see how big. No, you can't see how big it is. Now, I can see that that's 4. I can't see how big it is, so I'm just not going to worry about it. Same thing with this direction one over here. I'm just going to make this giant one over here. By 4, 249. I don't know if that's divisible by 3. It doesn't matter. I'm going to make these giant ones. So I have a bunch of different parking stalls. If you look at this area here, you can see that these parking stall objects are created. Now, with the foraging zones, we can create them, set them, and forget them. With the parking stalls, we need to give them information. I'm going to go ahead and go into the Properties tab over here, and we're going to go ahead and use that. Now, again, I'm getting this information from the One-Stop TileZ mapping shop. Basically, the list of vehicle zone names are as follows: bad, good, medium, sport, farm, junkyard. You can also have traffic jams, basically traffic jam south, north, east, west. And then this is our traffic jam, south, north, east, west. I totally forgot what the R does. Oh well. You can also have police, ranger, fire, McCoy. Oh my gosh, no, I don't want to make it that. Sorry about that. McCoy. Basically, you get the idea, right? Oh man. Not a water zone. Here we go. Fossil, postal, spiffle, radio ambulance, or burnt. If you put these kinds of zone names, these are the type of cars that will appear. Bad cars, good cars, medium cars, sport cars. Traffic jams is how you get like the big, ginormous, like traffic jams of cars where they're all like parked and sometimes they're all burned, and every once in a while there's a good car in there that's usable, but everything's like all mashed up. That's what the traffic jams are. And here's like how you can try to force police cars or different types of special cars to appear, including burnt cars. So how do we do this? So oh, sweet. Look at that. So the first group is the most common type of vehicle zones used: bad, good, medium, sport, farm. The second group are for traffic jams. The ones prefixed with R will spawn less than the regular traffic jam zones. So these are kind of like reduced traffic jam. And then over here, the third group is specific zones for the type of vehicle listed. They also spawn random cars, but also will spawn the vehicle listed. So it's kind of like higher chance that you get these types of cars, but it'll also be random. And then the final one would just add random burnt down vehicles. So be aware. Cool. Vehicle zones should be placed in multiples of 4x3, with 4x3 being a single vehicle, front and back. So again, this is where I'm getting that. So it looks like because they're saying it when I wasn't 100% with those, that might actually break. Unclear. So what do we do? Once we do that, we need to give it a name. So let me go zoom in. If I select one, so this is what's selected. I'm going to double click this and then I'm going to go ahead and give it a name. So the standard, right, is going to be, no, I'm wrong. The object type of name must be parking stall. No, that's already preset here. This is the object group. This is the object type. This here is going to be the vehicle zone name. So I can type in good. Now that's not 100% enough. We also need to give it a property. We can use these templates to basically set a parking stall, whether that's going to be and which direction the car is facing. If it's facing north, it'll be the front will be facing that way. South, the front will be facing this way. I want to make sure that it's important because since this is a 3x4, I want to make sure that I pick north or south. I don't want to pick east-west because then the car will not fit in this area, and most likely nothing will ever spawn. So we have to make sure that, so this is going to be a good type of car and the direction is going to be north. Now for this one over here, I'm going to go ahead and just put sport. And then, because this is selected, again, the template, I'm going to pick direction south. Next car here, then I'm going to go ahead and pick junkyard. I'm just kind of going down the list here, junkyard. And then this is going to be now east and west. So template, east. Next parking stall. This I'm going to go ahead and say this is going to be bad. And then I'm going to give it the template, of north-south. Nope, east-west. Look at that. It has both templates in there. That's probably going to cause an issue. So be sure you delete the one that you don't want by hitting the trash can icon there. And that's what I'm going to do for all of these, right? This one is going to be, again, east-west. This one I'm going to go ahead and make it farm. And then I'm going to give it the template of east-west, either one or the other. This one here, I'm going to go ahead and make this a traffic jam. Now, the thing about traffic jam is that the last character of the traffic jam is going to point which direction the traffic jam is headed. In this case, even though it's 4 wide this way, I'm going to make it traffic jam south so that all the cars are facing south. I'm also going to add parking stall south on there so that the direction is south. Over here, I'm going to make this traffic jam, and this is going to be E. So it's going to go towards the east, and I'm also going to make parking stall east direction. Over here, this looks like it's a one little square. I don't actually want that, so I'm going to go ahead and click the select tool, right-click, remove object. I'm going to hit save, and that is effectively how we create these parking zones. Once you load up your game, then the parking zones should effectively start spawning cars in there. All right, congrats. That's as easy as it gets in terms of the parking stalls. All right. We'll talk to you later in the next In the next video, we're going to skip over water zones and we're going to go straight into zombie zones. That's going to be a fun one. All right, y'all. Talk to you in a bit. Bye-bye.